Hey, it's me, Unapologetic Rika. Unapologetic Rika. Enjoy true crime stories on real life issues and more. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe. Hey, it's me, Unapologetic Rika. Unapologetic Rika. Enjoy true crime stories on real life issues and more. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'll be doing another story under my crime series today. Eventually, after more videos are created, I'm going to have the series broken down into different categories. This category will be called Where Are They? But before we get started, I wanted to give a special thanks to Tawana to Inspire TV and Medicine Vibes for the support towards the channel. It is greatly appreciated. I thank you. Also, I have decided that with each video, I will talk about 2 or 3 content creators to be on the lookout for. I want to be able to support other content creators, and I'm hoping that you guys will help me support them. So today, I want to bring attention to The Ben Zone, Shrinking Sharon, and In the Know with Glow. Benz is an amazing representative of the LGBTQ community. However, she is able to reach you whether you are gay, straight, or bi. I guarantee you will turn into a bensexual after your first video. Shrinking Sharon is the go-to tech guru here on YouTube. Anything you need to know about streaming, software, or computers, that's where you need to go. Shrinking Sharon. And then we have the beautifully amazing In the Know with Glow. Her commentary is short, sweet, and to the point. And Miss Glow don't bite her tongue. And she will deliver a read with a smile. So please make sure you check out these 3 amazing content creators. I promise you won't be disappointed. Before we get into it, I have to give out my fair use warning and the graphic content warning. We will be talking about children today, and it may be triggering. Where are the boys? Orrin and Orson West are brothers originally from Bakersfield, California. The 2 boys, ages 3 and 4, allegedly went missing on December 22nd, 2020. So it's been exactly a year since the boys went missing. After researching the story, I realized that there are a lot of red flags. So I wanted to bring it to you guys and try to break it down and see if maybe you feel the same. Before we start breaking things down, let me give you a little backstory. Orrin, who was originally named Sincere, was 4 years old, and his little brother Orson, who was originally named Classic, was 3 years old at the time of their disappearance. Their biological mother, Ryan Dean, gave birth to them in Bakersfield, California. However, Child Protective Services came in and removed the boys in the beginning of 2018. Orrin had an accident and broke his femur bone, according to the mother. CPS suspected abuse, so they decided to remove the boys and place them in foster care. And honestly, just speaking of my own experiences being in foster care, I never feel like that's the first and best decision that should be made about the placement of children. I feel like, maybe a family member before a foster home. The biological mother of the boys had a clean background, and she was working to get her babies back. She tried working with social services and, taking the classes that they offer to work towards bringing the babies home. Somehow the boys fell deeper into the system, and people have been trying to look into the West family background to see if any of them had ties to the social services. It was suspected that Trezell West's mother actually worked for the Department of Social Services, but that has not yet been confirmed. So in 2018, they eventually placed the boys with 34-year-old Trezell West and 31-year-old Jacqueline West. The family officially adopted them in 2019 and renamed them Orrin and Orson West. Trezell and Jacqueline already had 4 children, 2 biological and 2 previously adopted. So eventually, the adoptive parents and the 6 children allegedly moved to Cal City in September of 2020. However, the neighbors say they never saw any of the 6 children outside prior to the children's disappearance. There's a reason why I said they all allegedly moved, but I'll get into that a little bit later. I'm going to try to break down the timeline, point out some red flags, read their body language a little bit, and point out some discrepancies that I've noticed in the interviews. The adopted parents, Trezell and Jacqueline West, claimed the 3- and 4-year-old little boys went missing from the backyard while the father was gathering firewood and mom was wrapping Christmas gifts. A couple of days prior to the disappearance, both of the parents dropped off the 4 other children to the grandparents' house, allegedly leaving the other 2 boys behind. And this was all found out because of the neighbors' camera footage. When asked about this detail, they said that they didn't take Orrin and Orson because they felt like it would have been too much on the grandparents. But why do both of them go to take the 4 kids and leave 2 toddlers behind? I would never leave a 3- and 4-year-old to fend for themselves, and I don't think any other parent would do that either. So getting back to the day that the boys went missing, which is December 21st, 2020, Trezell West was bringing wood inside the house to make a fire because it was cold that night. Meanwhile, Jacqueline was inside wrapping Christmas gifts for all of the children. According to the parents, the 2 boys were in the backyard playing with chalk. There has been a lot of confusion behind this statement because it was first implied that they were using sidewalk chalk in the backyard. However, we later found out that the family's dog was named Chalk. So this detail has not yet been cleared up or confirmed. According to Trezell, after his last trip to get wood, he then noticed that he left the side gate open and he didn't see the children anywhere. He then claims that he went back in to ask his wife Jacqueline if she had seen the boys. She said no. Then they claimed that they started looking for them in a panic. But that's another discrepancy that I'll point out a little later. So they did go ahead and do an interview with their local news about 2 days after the disappearance. So let's go ahead and play the interview and I'll try to break it down. Also, please pay attention to their body language.
Thank everyone in the community for all the support we've seen. We've felt so helpless. And seeing everybody out here really looking and helping out really means a lot.
So, tell us what happened the night the kids went missing.
Oh, okay.
From our yard.
Okay. It was cold. I was gonna make a fire. There's a lot of wood in this area right here next to our house. I opened up the back gate. I'm throwing wood, bringing it inside the house. My wife's inside. She was actually wrapping gifts, so we thought it was a good idea that our youngest 2 would go outside and play with chalk on the back patio.
All of his responses seemed very cut and dry. To me, it was bizarre the way he recounted what happened. Also, throughout this interview, his hands remained across his chest, and his wife continuously sways back and forth. Their body language is very reminiscent of Chris Watts. When he was filmed by the officer's body-worn camera, he also had the same stance as Trezell West, and he was also rocking back and forth like Jacqueline. Both actions by both of the parents are showing self-comfort.
Do not let them go on the dirt in the backyard. We keep them close. They was playing with chalk, and I came in the house. I saw them there. I went in the house. I came back out. I didn't see them there. I immediately went back in, asked my wife, "Did you see the boys?" She said, "No, they should be outside playing with chalk." I said, "Well, I didn't see them," so I came back outside and I started searching my backyard. I searched the whole thing. I realized that I left the gate open and I panicked, came inside the house, searched the house, me and my wife. Once that hadn't panned out, I got in the van. I looked down the street, both directions. It was getting dark, getting cold, and I got in the van and I hit a bunch of corners. I went down this street. I turned my light on. I searched. I called their names. Talked to a gentleman on the street on the other side over there. He didn't see anyone. So then I came home and I told my wife we need to call the cops. It's getting dark and I need help. We gotta get going.
Please remember these two details. One, he said that he searched and he searched everywhere. And also, after he came back home, he told his wife to call the cops. But let's continue.
So I called the cops. Cops came. First thing they did was tell us to stay in the house so they can get a hold of us. And they had us just sitting there, and we wanted to keep searching. But everybody came out in droves, and I wanted to thank you guys that night, but we couldn't go outside.
The cops told us the best are out here.
The best are out here searching, and we appreciate it, and nobody ever could tell, we could never talk to anybody, and that was the issue.
We just want to thank everybody.
We really want to thank you guys.
Please, if anybody has seen them, please call, let somebody know.
Call the cops, call California the City Police Department. Call them and let them know what you've seen, if you see anything. Our boys, they are going to be rambunctious, okay?
At this point in the interview, they have not even called the boys' names as of yet. However, the first detail he wants to give about the boys are that they're rambunctious. Nothing else to really even describe the boys. Nothing that they were wearing, what they look like. Just rambunctious.
They are going to be here in this area. And I really would like to go in the houses, but it's not because I want to invade people's privacy. I just want to know if make sure. That's it. Because I don't, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry, if you got any questions.
Oh, no, you're good.
Oh, okay.
I was just going to say, you know, this is the first time we're hearing from you guys, and I can't imagine what you guys are going through. I can't even fathom it. For you guys, for people who are thinking that there's some kind of foul play involved, you know, we just spoke to the biological mother. She says she had a conversation with you guys, and that she thinks there's some kind of foul play involved. That she thinks you guys did something.
And that's understandable.
What's your response to that?
That's understandable. I would think the same thing.
Yep.
I mean, that's exactly the point. And if we can find our babies, then guess what? That's no. And that's all I want is to find our babies. That's it. And I talked to her this morning, and I really wanted to tell her that I am completely sorry because we were entrusted with her children, and they came to us, and they became our children. And we named them, and they are our children, and so we want them back. So please, if y'all could get back on what you guys are doing, we should be able to get a hold of somebody, but they took all of our tech, so they wanted to, I guess, just rule us out, which makes sense. That's part of the investigation. So that's pretty much it.
Have you guys, you talked to the police all last night?
Yes.
So you guys willfully gave them your
Everything.
technology?
Yes.
The car?
Yes.
How did they get a search warrant? Did you guys?
I
no
don't
idea.
see why they got one, but they got one.
Yeah,
We would have
they
let them
didn't
take
need one,
anything.
but-
We would have let them take everything. We let them come in and search with us. We asked them to come do that.
What did they take?
Just tech. And that's it. Like our phones.
From the house, though, did they?
should have been out there the first day. Not right now.
Oh, well, I guess, should I answer that? Or?
Answer it to us, yeah.
Okay, so into the, okay, and I guess, I don't even know.
I see. Yeah, we seriously felt like we needed to be out here. We did. Again, we were told the best are out here looking already. Just to stay put, they have more questions. There was literally a cop with us the whole time in there.
He had sitting down. We would ask, can we go help? They had to sit down.
Said nope.
He said, no, we got the best out there.
So
we
it's
need
not,
you guys here in case we have more questions.
I don't want you guys thinking we
don't.
didn't try. We actually looked
tried.
before we called
We
the
looked,
police.
yes.
And I imagine the mind-boggling part is the search for information. What happened? Where are they?
Yes.
Et cetera, et cetera.
And we're, yeah.
And just so we are able to present the information correctly, at what time did you guys notice your kids went missing, and at what time were they reported missing to the police?
It's about, I believe, I think it was about 4:30, going on 5. It was getting dark, like I said.
5-ish.
5-ish. That's about it. That's when everything played out.
And then when did you guys call the police to report them missing?
After we searched
Yeah.
a little bit around here, it was dark, so we definitely we got worried.
Would you say it was maybe within an hour, a couple hours?
No, it was within minutes of us getting finished with our search.
Okay.
It was within minutes.
Okay. What do you guys want people at home to understand about this situation? For them, you know, even speaking about what you guys are feeling is difficult. What do you want them at home to understand about this whole situation?
We're going through it.
Okay, no ma'am, sir. No ma'am, sir. To me, that response was odd. There's so much deflection going on. So, your children are missing, and the reporter asks, what do you want the public to know? Is your response going to be, we're going through it? Or will it be more about the child or children that are missing? But let's keep going.
It's difficult. I mean, everybody's making their own their own conclusions. They don't know anything. We're not sure like everything. We're not sure. We said what we knew, and if anybody has seen them or anything, please call the police department.
Would you be willing to provide pictures, or do you have any?
I have older pictures. All my newest were on my phone.
Okay.
A lot of people are speaking of this as, you know, after the math, past tense. I want to talk about your kids in present tense. What kind of boys are these? Tell us about the boys.
Very playful, very rambunctious, and they do love to wrestle. They do love to kind of get rough with each other.
Kids.
They're kids. Of course, they would love to go out, but so during the pandemic, we wasn't trying to go, you know, out here, and so we stayed inside.
Did you guys ever go out and search?
Yes, we did. We searched before we called the cops. That's what we were saying.
What time did they come up missing?
They came missing right before it got dark. And then we called. I searched that property. I even drove around this neighborhood right here. I even talked to a gentleman on that side, one of those streets over there. I said, "Did you see some little black kids?"
You go that way looking for them?
That's the way I was gonna come. But when I came back home, I decided to call the cops because it was dark. They couldn't have got away that fast.
And why did it take 2 people to go in the house and leave 2 kids out here by themselves? It should have been 1 parent going in and 1 parent right here watching the child, not 2 parents going in the house and leaving 2 little kids out here by themselves for 10 minutes.
No, they were in the backyard, and the back gate was open.
Out the backyard?
And the back gate was open, and I was getting wood from this lot here.
So you guys been unresponsible and left the gate open, left some little kids outside with the gate open.
All right. Sorry, you guys were talking about your boys who you're, you know, I understand. For a mother, a mother's intuition, I know you were saying, and we'll get your names after this, but you were saying how you feel like they're in this area. Do you feel the same way? And what is the intuition? What is the sense you get? What do you think happened to your boys? Do you think someone took them? Do you think they're lost? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely know they're not walking around. They're not that kind. They do not just roam around. You know, these patches. They definitely, I think definitely would have been picked up or something.
That was my assumption.
Have they ever taken off every yard
Nope.
before?
No,
Nope.
They've never taken off?
no.
Soon after this interview was conducted, many of the neighbors came out with camera footage. It was either a security cam or a ring cam. The footage that was released countered and contradicted a lot of what they said in that interview. So let me break down the footage along with the timeline of events according to what we're seeing through the security cameras. The police did confirm that the time on the camera is off by an hour. So just keep that in mind as you're viewing the time as I'm breaking down the timeline. Okay, so at 5:12 to 5:21 p.m., the footage does show Trezell going in and out of the backyard. I presume this is when he was picking up the firewood. At 5:21 p.m., the lights are going on and off inside the home. This is allegedly the time he's asking his wife about the boys. At 5:32 p.m., Trezell comes out of the house and jumps in his van to go search the neighborhood for the boys. But why not search the immediate area first? Why jump straight in the vehicle and take off? Why didn't Jacqueline come out and search the backyard or the front yard? I find that very strange that you are not searching around your home first. And she wasn't inside calling the police because Trezell confirmed that the police weren't called until he came back from his search. Trezell also claimed he did a mass neighborhood search, but how could he if he arrived back home at 5:39 p.m., literally 6 minutes after he left? But what I find the most interesting about all of that is he never went back into the house to inform the wife he didn't find the kids, and the wife never came outside to notify him that she had not found them. He instead stands by a tree in the front yard for 13 minutes. If they didn't communicate with each other in this time, how did they both know the boys hadn't been found? The police do confirm that the 911 call came in at 5:48 p.m. and they arrived shortly after. So according to Trezell, he's standing by the tree to wait on the police. In that full 40-minute footage, Jacqueline never left that house once. At 5:52 p.m., the police arrived. Trezell gets back into his van and they continue to search. So the police conduct their search and then they bring the dogs inside to try to pick up the scent of the boys. The dogs did pick up the scent of the boys inside the house, but nowhere at all outside. So, could it be possible that the scent the dogs did pick up inside the house came from clothing, bedding, or furniture the boys previously had contact with? They just moved all of their belongings from Bakersfield, therefore transferring the scent to the new home in Cal City. So there would be no scent of the boys on the outside of the property. The canines didn't even pick up the scent of the boys leaving the house. Also, remember, they just dropped off their other 4 children with the grandparents 2 days prior. So now let's listen to the interview given by the neighbor.
That there were never any children back there, and we're home 98% of the time. They didn't even have any animals there. If they had animals in that house, they weren't in the backyard either.
Also, going back to the comment Jacqueline West made about the pictures, the last known photos ever taken of the boys was from Thanksgiving 2019. There aren't any recent photos of the children as the mother stated. And because of this, Bakersfield police issued a press release asking for anyone who has had contact with the boys, regardless of the context, to contact them immediately. The seized tech that the police got from the West didn't give them a timeline, as there were no pictures. This case is extremely complex. I don't think those boys were ever in Cal City. I don't believe they ever left Bakersfield. Trezell West even told his realtor back in July that he only had 4 children. The realtor was extremely adamant about that statement. Also, the biological mother stated that the boys were different at their visits. They didn't want to interact. They didn't want to take pictures anymore. That these once playful little boys were now completely subdued and withdrawn. Since the day the boys went missing, there has been countless candlelight vigils. The community and the biological family members will hold a candlelight vigil on the 21st of each month. The adopted parents has yet to show up to any one of the vigils. Last check, the reward money is now up to $125,000. The police have interviewed at least 83 people. 44 search warrants have been executed, and there have been 16 mass area searches. The other 4 children are now in protective custody as the investigation continues. There is also an anonymous tip line set up. It's been a year. Where are the boys? I really do hope you guys enjoyed the video. I enjoy bringing you the content. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and click on that notification bell. And also check out some of my past videos. Thank you all and good night.
Hey, it's me, Unapologetic League. Unapologetic League. Enjoy true crime stories on real life issues and more. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe. Hey, it's me, Unapologetic League. Unapologetic League. Enjoy true crime stories on real life issues and more. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe. Hey, it's me, Unapologetic League. 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 Unapologetic League. Enjoy true crime stories on real life issues and more. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe. Hey, it's me, Unapologetic League. Unapologetic League. Enjoy true crime stories on real life issues and more. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe.